No problem. We'll have record. Yeah. Good morning. So we'll say in Bahasa, what good morning? Salamat.
Selamat pagi.
Salamat pagi. Good morning.
Terima kasih.
Right. So we have an outstanding young voice coming from Indonesia. And we are very happy to have you. And we want more times to you to travel to Odisha and Kalinga Literary Festival and people like you coming, yes. And what Ina ma'am, the Honorable High Commissioner, Ambassador of Indonesia to India, she has told that we want to strengthen the literary engagement between Indonesia and India. So in that spirit, we're starting this discussion. So I'm very happy to see this book of Mahfud Ikhwan, A Dark Tale from Cottonwood Grove. So this is a book published by Speaking Tiger, which is a very reputed publication house. So he will speak in Bahasa Indonesia. I'll try to translate that through technology, through AI, and also we'll seek support as well. So tell us something about, if I look at, for just 1 minute, I'll introduce the topic. If I look at Indian Indonesian studies, then it can go back to 2000 years old, 2 millennia old. And in that 2 millennia old, today's Bahasa Indonesia, which is the language of the country, at least has 1000 close words which resemble or exactly closer to Sanskrit. So the word like achara, like it's an item in Bahasa. In achar here, it is also pickle, or achar is also behavior. So there are several such, like Garuda.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are several such. So if I look at some B, all the title B, Bahasa Indonesia, the Bahasa Sanskrit, from there, Bahasa. Right. And from there, then Bali, where our ancient traders and merchants went there and reached to Bali, Java, and Sumatra. I'm looking at all B titles. Bahasa is literature and culture.
And
Then
island as Madura
okay.
in Indonesia, and India have Madura.
Yeah. Right. Madhura. So then Bahasa or Bhasa, then Bali, then Biju Patnaik, who happens to be connected to the history of Indonesia very closely during the entire colonial movement. So first B Bhasa, second B Bali, third B Biju Patnaik, and fourth B Bandung. So Bandung conference happened in collaboration with Sukarno and Jawaharlal Nehru, taking non-alignment movement to the next level. So this desire to be not to be with United States, not to be with USSR, to be neutral in political atmosphere of the world, then they created non-alignment movement. So this is Bandung, the fourth B. The fifth B is BRICS. Now, Indonesia is joining BRICS. Now with that, there is a whole gamut of work that we can do together, building upon the understanding of the past, but people like you will give us the understanding of the present. So how is Indonesian literary tradition today, and how historical writing or ancient writing are being promoted or not, that kind of thing. We want to know what is the broad Indonesian literary scene. Give us some idea, then we'll come back to your book. So before you start, I will switch on the AI so that your Bahasa Indonesian that can be interpreted into English. So we'll start in a while. Just give me a second. Okay, 1 second.
Oke. Selamat pagi teman-teman. Good morning everyone. Saya akan membacakan paper saya dalam bahasa Indonesia. You can read in English in your head. Kita mulai. Bocah itu dan teman-teman Indianya by Mahfud Ikhwan. Tepat di akhir milenium lalu, bocah yang di masa kecilnya menggembala kambing, mengolah ladang bersama bapaknya, dan meramah hutan bersama teman-temannya, mulai menulis cerita. Saat itu usianya 19. Ia sedang belajar sastra di universitas terbaik di Indonesia. Dan ia tinggal di Yogyakarta, tempat kota lahirnya penulis-penulis hebat Indonesia. Ia pada awalnya ingin menjadi pelukis, tapi sepertinya menjadi penulis tidak terlalu buruk. Namun, hingga bertahun-tahun kemudian, ia merasa menulis mungkin memang pilihan yang buruk. Sepanjang 90-an, sastra Indonesia didominasi oleh sastra yang terbit di koran. Sebagian besar dalam bentuk cerita pendek. Saat itu tidak ada nama yang lebih besar dibanding Seno Gumira Ajidharma. Very Indian name, right? Wartawan dan penulis cerita pendek produktif, tajam dan kritis yang punya kredo ketika jurnalisme dibungkam, sastra bicara. Seno Gumira bukan saja yang terhebat. Ia mendapat penghargaan Right Award dari Kerajaan Thailand pada usia 39 tahun. Ketika penulis-penulis lain biasa mendapatkannya di usia 60-an. Ia juga menjadi acuan bagaimana sastra melawan kekuasaan yang menindas. Semua orang ingin menulis seperti Seno. Tak terkecuali bocah itu. Paragraf 3. Bagaimanapun, Seno menulis cerita yang berbeda dengan cerita-cerita yang ingin bocah itu tulis. Seno menulis tokoh-tokoh yang tidak ingin keluar kamar, yang menyukai musik jazz dan senja, dan kadang ingin pergi menuju ke sana dan tak kembali lagi. Dengan kalimat lebih singkat, Seno menulis manusia-manusia kota yang individual dan surreal. Sementara bocah itu ingin menulis tokoh-tokoh yang ia kenal, atau yang orang-orang kenal, atau setidaknya mereka kenal. Ia ingin menulis cerita yang oleh para pembacanya dianggap sebagai nyata atau dekat dengan yang nyata.
Stop it here.
Ya.
I'll read.
Tidak kurang pentingnya, ia ingin menulis tokoh yang menyukai musik yang ia sukai, semisal dangdut atau lagu India. Tapi ia ingin seperti Seno, maka ia memaksa diri menulis seperti Seno. Hasilnya, tak ada koran yang menyukai cerita pendeknya. Lebih buruk lagi, ia juga tak terlalu menyukai ceritanya sendiri.
Thank you. What Mahfud is trying to say is that it's a journey of literature in Indonesia. Right at the end of the last millennium, the boy who in his childhood herded goats, cultivated fields with his father, and ventured into the forest with his friends, started writing stories. He was 19. He was studying literature at the best university in Indonesia, that is Gajah Mada.
Ya.
Gajah Mada University. And he's talking about his life story. Yeah. Right. And he lived in Yogyakarta, the city where great Indonesian writers were born. He initially wanted to be a painter, but it seemed like being a writer wouldn't be so bad. However, years later, he felt that writing might have been a bad choice. I don't know why. Throughout the 90s, Indonesian literature was dominated by literature published in newspapers. There was no bigger name than Seno Gumira Ajadharma, a prolific, incisive, and critical journalist and short story writer whose credo was, when journalism is silenced, literature speaks. Seno Gumira is not only the greatest, one of the greatest writers who received Southeast Asian Writers Award from the Kingdom of Thailand at the age of 39, when other writers usually get into the 60s. He is also a reference point for how we use literature to fight oppressive power. Everyone wants to write like Seno, and that this boy is no exception. So he's talking about his life and inspiration. However, Seno wrote a story that was different from the stories he wanted to write. Seno wrote characters who didn't want to leave their rooms, who loved jazz music and twilight, and sometimes wanted to go there and never come back. In subtle sentences, Seno writes about city people, the urban life, who are individual and surreal. Meanwhile, he wanted to write characters he knew or the people he knew, or at least he felt that he knew. He wants to write stories that his readers perceive as real or at least close to real. No less important, he wanted to write characters who liked music that he liked, such as
Dangdut.
Dangdut and Indian songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which Indian song you like? Bollywood?
Oh, a lot.
Give me one example.
But in this book, we have two in this song from R.D. Burman.
Adibaman. Okay.
Jab Hum Jawa Honge from
Jab-
Betap.
Jab Hum Jawa Honge. Okay. Oh, very good.
And
Do you understand that lyrics?
no.
Okay. Jab Hum Jawa Honge means when we will become young. So these are-
I
these-
know
these-
from English translation,
Yeah.
of course, and from this is from Andy film by Gulzar. तेरे बिना जिंदगी से कोई
Oh, Guljar.
शिकवा
To-
तो नहीं
Very good.
शिकवा नहीं शिकवा नहीं शिकवा नहीं.
Oh, awesome, man. Very good. So I remember this. This is very good. So in Indonesia, do people listen to Indian songs?
Oh, big people. Very a lot.
Lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But bagaimana? That people belittled by high culture.
High culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
That people low culture
Hmm.
because watch Hindi movie or listen Hindi music.
Okay. So which other song you remember? I like this because at least you remember Guljar and then R.D. Burman, Jab Hum Jawa Honge. Wait, wedding song, any wedding song. Also,
That's my wedding song.
which one?
Terebina.
Tere Bina.
Terebina Zindagi. My wedding song.
Wedding song.
I'm serious.
Right. There are also many dance songs because in Punjabi there is a very peppy dance songs people use outside. They call bhangra. So have you heard of them?
But in first Bapilahiri, of course.
Bapi Lahiri, okay.
I wanted
You remember all good musicians and singers, yeah. Guljar is a legend.
because
Guljar is a legend. R.D. Burman is a legend. Bapi Lahiri is a legend.
Because I read those book.
Yeah.
This is Aku dan Film India Melawan Dunia in English, Me, and Indian movie Against the World.
Right. Oh, okay. He has written a book on Indian movies.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. So the Indian movie world,
Yeah.
like Film India Melawan Dunia.
Yeah.
Oh, Dunia is also
Oh yeah. It's,
the society. or
my
world.
blog is Dusman Duniaka in India. So this is Indonesian version from my blog.
Oh,
I'm blogging about Indian movie.
You're blogging.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
oh, here is a blogger.
the
Okay.
thumbnail is Nana Patekar.
Ah. Nana Patekar. Okay.
Yeah, acha.
Right. So, the which movie latest you have watched? Any Hindi movie you will watched
Uh,
recently?
uh,
Recent movie.
Recent movie, I lot watch short movie uh, in in years. Maharaja,
Maharaj.
Maharaja by Maharaja, Tamil movie
Hmm.
by Vijay Sethupathi. Uh, big uh, big blockbuster in Indonesia.
How big blockbuster? Okay.
From Netflix, of
Netflix.
course.
Yeah, Netflix. Okay. Ah, good.
Because in what bioscope? In theater, uh, not much enough in an Indian movie.
Hmm.
So
Nowadays it is easy because Netflix provides you that access to
yeah,
global
yeah,
movies.
yeah.
If you are in India, you can watch any movie of the world. So if in Indonesia also people are watching Indian movies, that is good news. Uh,
So we can.
continue. I will continue. Yeah. So the story of Seno continues. I stopped because he likes songs. I stopped there so that he can sing few songs for us. Okay. But so I will repeat that. He wants to write stories that his readers perceive as real or close to real. No less important, he wanted to write characters who liked music that he liked, such as Dangdut.
Yeah, dangdut.
Dangdut. And what is Dangdut?
Dangdut is onomatopic of dance music
That's
in
right.
Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Very influenced by Hindi music.
Okay. Right. So Dangdut are Indian songs, but he wanted to be like Seno, who is inspiration for Mahfud. So he forced himself to write like Seno. So that is an inspiration he's following. The result was that no newspaper liked his short stories. Even he didn't like his own stories much either. This is a dilemma that a writer goes through. Huh? Now for him, he started writing like Seno, but his short stories were not liked by the newspapers. Neither he liked his own stories. Bali is also from proper Indonesia. Where are you from?
I'm from Java.
Java.
It's Java.
East Java. Yeah. Yeah, we will. Right. So continue.
We continue.
Yeah.
Pada saat yang sama, sastra Indonesia sedang berubah bersamaan dengan berubahnya politik Indonesia. Pada tahun 1998, tahun yang sama ketika Presiden Soeharto yang telah berkuasa 32 tahun dipaksa turun oleh gelombang demonstrasi mahasiswa. Lazim disebut sebagai Reformasi 98. Novel Saman dari Ayu Utami, Indian name again. Novel Saman dari Ayu Utami memenangkan sayembara novel Dewan Kesenian Jakarta or DKJ. Ajang yang dalam sejarahnya sering memunculkan karya-karya dan nama-nama yang sangat mewarnai kesusastraan Indonesia. Orang bisa berdebat soal mutu Saman, tapi semua orang akan sepakat bahwa ia mengubah sastra Indonesia untuk seterusnya.
Very important, the word sastra, which means here either
Literature.
epic or
Literature.
here in Bahasa Indonesia refers to literature. Sastra. Very good. Go ahead.
Ayu Utami menjadi semacam pemula bagi tren munculnya penulis perempuan pasca reformasi. Tak ada masa dalam sastra Indonesia yang lebih subur melahirkan penulis perempuan melebihi masa ini. Karena Saman menerbitkan novel juga terasa lebih keren dibanding menulis cerita pendek di koran. Yang lebih besar dampaknya, Saman membuka semacam tema yang lama terabaikan dalam kesusastraan Indonesia, khususnya berkait perempuan, seksualitas, dan kehidupan urban. Dan itu berangkat dari perspektif perempuan.
Thank you. Stay there. I'm going to follow up from where we stopped.
Okay.
So The author is talking about his own journey and inspiration in writing, and he goes on to talk about little biographically, and through this biographical journey we are able to see author's own journey reflecting the journey of Indonesian literature as well to an extent. So he goes on to say, at the same time, Indonesian literary landscape was changing along with Indonesian politics. In 1998, the same year, President Suharto, who had been in power for 32 years, was forced to step down by way of student demonstrations, commonly referred to as Reformasi 1998. Ayu Utami's novel, Saman, won the Jakarta Arts Council novel competition, an event that has historically produced works and names that have greatly shaped and colored Indonesian Sastra or Indonesian literature. One can argue that quality of Saman, but everyone will argue that it changed Indonesian literature forever. So, thank you, Mahfud. You are giving us a sequence of events, how literature is going, it being shaped, according to you. So, Ayu Utami set the stage for post-Reformation trend of female writers. No period in Indonesian literature has been more fertile and open for female writers than this one. Because of Saman, publishing a novel also felt cooler than writing a short story in the newspaper. So, how do you pronounce it? Saman or Saman?
Saman. Saman.
So, what does it mean, Saman?
Oh no, no, mean
Wealth?
that's
Does it mean wealth?
average name in Java.
Okay.
Mononym.
Yeah.
Saman. Like Mr. Undri.
Okay, like a name. But I was asking if in the Bahasa Indonesia, if the name means anything. Like in Saman over here, it would mean either property or wealth, something like that in Indian context. So I was trying to find out if Saman opened up some long neglected themes in literature, especially regarding women, sexuality, and urban life, and it was from a women's perspective. So this is a very, you can say, paradigm shift that is happening in the Indonesian literature. Saman and the trend that followed it also spawned a counterpoint. Religious conservatives seem to be troubled by the proliferation of a sexually themed literature or sastra. Those who, after fall of General Suharto, President Suharto, experienced a political new awakening by establishing faith-based political parties, also wanted to make their presence felt in the literary world. Of course, they wanted literature that was in line with their values. So even 7 years after Saman, Ayat Chinta, Love Verses, was published, written by Habibur Rahman Il Shirazi, a man who tells the story of a man who is so perfect physically and morally that women fight to become his wife. Literature with Islamic overtones has always been present in Indonesian Shastra and literature, but never as prominently as this. He is also not shy about showing his intentions with a novel of the soul builder as the subtitle. More strikingly, Al Shirzi, how do you pronounce?
El Sirazi.
Al Siraji not only succeeded in spawning many epigons and making the first decade of 2000s filled with novels with titles, covers, stories similar to Ayat Chinta. What does Chinta mean?
Love.
Love. So Chinta also comes from the Sanskrit origin, that word.
I know.
Here it is love, but it has a Sanskrit connotation there. Chinta, Chintana. And those words have. Chinta is also kind of, at one level, it can become worry in Indian context, but it is also talks about thinking.
Yeah.
So you can add in Indonesian thinking about someone. So Chinta becomes love. And he also created a new wave of novel readers and film moviegoers in the 50s. Islamic Indonesian literature had Hamka, a cleric who wrote novels whose works are still read today. But Il Shirazi seemed to create a much bigger wave. Over to you.
Okay.
How much time we have? 20 minutes. Yeah.
Bocah itu, that's boy, yang telah merasa gagal meniru Seno, tak mungkin mengikuti Ayu Utami. Ia laki-laki dengan kehidupan desa, ladang, dan hutan mengisi penuh memorinya. Dan itulah yang ia ingin tulis. Ia tentu saja memikirkan seks karena ia berada di usia awal 20-an. Tapi tampaknya ia lebih sibuk memikirkan apakah ijazah sastranya nanti bisa membuatnya mendapat pekerjaan atau tidak. Pada saat yang sama, meskipun ia dibesarkan di desa Muslim yang sangat konservatif di Jawa, ia tak mempercayai cerita semacam ayat-ayat cinta. Ketika agama diasosiasikan dengan hidup yang sepenuhnya sempurna, ia percaya Tuhan dan ia juga percaya agama membuatnya menjadi lebih baik. Tapi agama juga yang membuat desanya memiliki 2 masjid yang biasa akan bersaing setiap datang Ramadan dan mulai bertengkar ketika tiba saatnya pemilihan umum. Agama juga tak memberi penjelasan mengapa desanya miskin. Sementara di Jakarta, Presiden Soeharto sedang merayakan keberhasilan Indonesia melakukan swasembada pangan. Dalam kehidupannya menjadi Muslim tak pernah sesederhana dengan beristri 2, seperti Fahri dalam ayat-ayat cinta. Menjadi Muslim sama rumitnya dengan menjadi Jawa dan menjadi Indonesia. Menjadi Indonesia dan menjadi lebih rumit lagi jika kesemuanya berkumpul menjadi satu seperti yang terjadi padanya. So,
You stop it here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, coming back to the boy who tried to emulate Seno, was unlikely to follow Ayu Utami. He was a boy with a village life, fields and forests filling his memories. And that was what he wanted to write about. He thought about sexuality, of course, being in his early 20s, but he seemed more preoccupied with whether or not his literature diploma would get him a job. At the same time, even though he grew up in a very conservative Muslim village in Java, he didn't believe in stories like Ayat Chinta, where religion is associated with a completely perfect life. He believes in God. He also believes that religion makes people better. But religion is also why his village has 2 mosques, which usually compete with each other every Ramadan and start fighting when it's time for elections. Religion also does not explain why his village is poor. While in Jakarta, President Suharto is celebrating Indonesian success in Swasembada Pangan, food self-sufficiency. In his life, being a Muslim is never as simple as having 2 wives like Fahri in Ayat Chinta. Being Muslim is complicated as being Javanese and being Indonesian. It becomes even more complicated when they all come together as they did for him. So the author is going through the critical reflection about personal life, about community, about the society, about the political systems, how they are moving. So the religious belief and the desire to do something in life, career. So they are how they are. The author is very carefully reflecting on and juxtaposing society and the individual. Then another boy came to him at a time that couldn't have been more perfect. The boy, like himself, was from the village, both poor, both had smart fathers who didn't always bring home the money, both had loving mothers who were often grumpy because they didn't have enough spending money. But most similar, the 2 boys both loved the forest. The other boy, Apurbo Roy, by name or simply Apu, he found in Pather Panchali a story written by Bengali named Bhitibhushan Banerjee or Bandopadhyay as he was called. Whichever way it was spelled, the author's name sounded very foreign and distant. And our boy, a Javanese boy, he only knew Indonesian to read, always struggled to spell it. But that doesn't matter. Bengal and Java were certainly connected in the past and now reconnected through the 2 boys' encounter. The 2 quickly became friends because they had so much in common that they could share. Continue. Next 5 minutes, we'll read this.
Oke. Singkat cerita, bocah itu telah menemukan prosa yang mengubah hidupnya. Pada Pater Pancali, bocah itu telah menemukan ceritanya sendiri. Pada kalimat-kalimat Banerjee, bocah itu memakai kalimat Banerjee sendiri, bara api yang panas untuk menyalakan obornya sendiri. Pater Pancali telah membangunkan seorang novelis yang yakin dan keras kepala pada dirinya, tentang apa yang ingin ia tulis, tentang bagaimana ia menulis. Dan 10 tahun sejak perjumpaannya dengan Apu, bocah itu menulis Ulid.
Continue.
Okay. Ulid terbit 2009.
Summarize a little bit so that
Okay.
Shorten it so that we'll have some question answer.
Ya. Ulid 2009, kata seorang kritikus sastra di Indonesia adalah apapun yang memunggungi sastra Indonesia setelah 98. Ia berbentuk Bildungsroman, berkarakter utama seorang bocah laki-laki yang tumbuh dari kecil hingga besar, bercerita tentang desa dan masyarakat desa yang sedang berubah, dan menjadikan agama sebagai latar alih-alih tujuan. Ia juga tidak meromantisasi desa dan kemiskinan seperti novel-novel Indonesia tahun 80-an. Tapi karena tidak menyerupai novel manapun yang sedang banyak dibaca dan dibicarakan di Indonesia, Ulid benar-benar tidak dibaca dan tidak dibicarakan.
Thank you. Because now Apu is there, so Apurba has come to the life of our author, of our novelist. To make long story short, the boy had discovered prose that changed his life. In Pather Panchali, which is a legendary film, the boy had found his own story. In Banerjee's lines, the boy had found to use Banerjee's own phrase, hot coals, to light his own torch. Pather Panchali had awakened a confident and stubborn novelist in him, about what he wanted to write, about how he wanted to write, about what he wanted to write, and about how he wanted to write. And 10 years after his encounter with Apu, the boy wrote Ulid. First novel. Very thick, yeah. Okay.
So we
Shorten up. I'm talking about just Ulid a little bit.
okay.
So, but Ulid, says an Indonesian literary critic, is whatever Indonesian literature after 1980s are not. It takes the form of a,
Bildungsroman.
what does it mean? His main character.
Coming of age.
His main character of a boy who grows up from childhood to adulthood tells the story of a village, its changing society, and makes religion the setting rather than the goal. It also doesn't romanticize village life and poverty like other Indonesian novels of the 1980s. But because it doesn't resemble any of the novels that are currently being read and talked about in Indonesia, Ulid is completely unread and unspoken about. Okay. But it is a very unique contribution. Go ahead. Yeah. Towards the end.
We jump to
Yeah.
because I want to name the Indian name, other Indian name.
Swami?
Ya.
Okay.
Lalu sisi lembut bocah itu tersentuh lagi ketika bocah India lain datang menjumpainya. Bocah itu bernama Swami, berasal dari Malgudi, konon dekat Mysore atau Mysore itu sendiri. Mysore. Tak seperti Apu yang anak desa, Swami adalah anak kota. Tapi lagi-lagi itu bukan masalah. Anak kota dan anak desa juga bisa berteman. Sebagaimana bocah Jawa tentu bisa berteman dengan bocah Tamil. Toh mereka punya kesenangan dan masalah yang kurang lebih sama. Terlalu serius dengan hal-hal yang main-main, dan terlalu bermain-main dengan hal serius. Ketika menemukan Swami dan kawan-kawannya membentuk tim kriketnya, bocah itu dengan bersemangat menulis tokoh bernama Isnan yang membangun tim sepak bolanya bersama teman-temannya dalam sebuah novel berjudul Back.
Last 1 minute.
25 tahun sejak itu ia 25 tahun sejak ia menulis ceritanya, 2 dekade sejak ia berjumpa dengan Apu, Bocah itu kini berkesempatan datang ke India, negeri yang tidak hanya memberinya Amitabh Bachchan dan Lata Mangeshkar, tapi juga Banerjee dan Narayan. Tentu saja tidak ada Apu dan suami di sana. Tak juga ada Banerjee dan Narayan, karena mereka memang datang dari masa lalu. Tapi sekali lagi itu bukan masalah. Toh, ia berjumpa dengan kawan-kawan barunya, kawan-kawan lainnya dari India. Bocah itu kini bicara di depan Anda.
Thank you. Another character comes into life of our author. The boy's name is Swami from Malgudi, said to be near Mysore or Mysore itself. Unlike Apu, who was a village boy, Swami was a city boy. But again, that's not a problem for the author. A city boy and a village boy can also be friends, just as a Javanese boy can be friends with a Tamil boy. After all, they have similar pleasures and problems, being too serious about playful things and not and too playful about serious things and serious about playful things. Very good. When he found Swami and his friends forming their cricket team, the boy excitedly wrote about Isnan building his soccer team with his friends in a novel called Beck. 25 years since our author started writing his story, Mahfud, since he met Apu, the boy now has the opportunity to come to India, the country that not only gave him Amitabh Bachchan, Lata Mangeshkar, but also Banerjee and Narayan. Of course, Apu and Swami were not there. Neither were Banerjee and Narayan, for they were from the past. But again, it didn't matter. After all, he's making new friends and other friends from India. The boy is now speaking in front of you. So I think last 30 seconds before we enter into the discussion with the team. This is a very reflective, analytical, personal journey of an author while narrating the story
In Indonesia, maybe next week or
Yeah, very good, very good. Any questions? Any questions, queries, or something? He will answer in Bahasa. I'll try to translate that, or use some small English words also.
Anybody wants to ask, or on behalf of all of you, I can take the liberty. Selamat pagi. So I just wanted to, I think you could say something about my attire, right? Batik, Yogyakarta. Recently, I can proudly say that I am from Indonesia returned. So lots of query because I had a problem that Bhasa. I am not able to understand the Bhasa in Indonesia. Nobody knows English. So what Mr. Kamala Das did, wonderful. I congratulate you. Have done a wonderful job. How you structured the question and Google our the technology helped us. Literally, I did like that. Namaste. Literally, I did that. I was trying to say something, but it was so hard that I had to take this, Google Drive. Even if I'm complimenting, then what? I want nasi goreng, and he is going to give something else. So anyway, that is the question. Lots of query. I think we are running short of time, so I will ask you and not leave you all query. You will give. How can you understand what I'm speaking? How you will do? Then the question is one very small, maybe something related thing. One question I will ask. Then later a big sorts of question will be there. One thing is, I have seen that what you initially mentioned, that there is it's not all about, it's a 2000, we had Thai, especially in Odisha, Bali's, Java and Sumatra, and most importantly, Rambamnan and Bolbudur, right? So there is what I understood as a foreigner. So what a religious and spiritual inclined, I mean, country. The country, the Indonesia is all religion, Buddhism, Hinduism, I mean Hindu. So Raman, wherever I see, this is Sinta hall, this is Lakshmana. Then first I couldn't understand why Rama Sinta, maybe something different. Then when I went Mahabharata. So my question is whether in the contemporary literature, so these initially it was in the moral value or something, Ramayana, where you see the Ramayana stories or Mahabharata story. So in the contemporary and the people, but it's irrespective of Muslim, Hindu, or whichever religion, because it is multilingual country. So they adopt the Ramayana thing in their part of their moral year. So how this contemporary world, how this values with Ramayana, Mahabharata and all things, or maybe some Buddhist scripture, are they appreciate, or are they, I mean, these all are connected to the contemporary literary world? So this is then many questions, but first this is the
Ramayana and Mahabharata influence, big influence in
Indonesian literature.
Indonesian literature. Uh, we have wayang. Wayang is shadow play from skin buffalo skin. Like you you can you can meet wayang in everywhere in Indonesia, and wayang very influenced by to epic to epos, and very popular, and he influenced uh, very very terus big writer in Indonesia uh, with interpretation or rewriting,
Okay.
and deconstructing.
Very good. Very good. That's what I was coming to.
So, where a lot novel, a lot story in Indonesian literature, source in Ramayana and Mahabharata until now.
Thank you. So what I can conclude from here is that from his answer, that Ramayana and Mahabharata still continue to inspire the current writers as well, and they are rewritten, and they are creatively rewritten. That they are also, we call it in the, and also sometimes historical fiction, and they are reconstructing in the Indonesian context as well. So this is something which continues to inspire several literary giants in Indonesia, and they may not say that this is, I have written from Ramayana, but they take that character and create a new story. Like Shakespearean writers have inspired so many literary figures. So that way, so he's saying that there is an inspiration, or there is perhaps going back to those characters and the stories and the morals and all that, still reflected in writings of today's Indonesia. We profusely thank Mahfud Ikhwan and the Indonesian Embassy, Her Excellency Madam Ina Krishnamurthy, for becoming the country partner of KLF this year and having an Indonesian team performing the dance and having a leading voice in Indonesian literature, Mahfud, coming here. Take it off. Here. This is. Next session, you can announce. March. 23rd March 2025. KLS. Something like that.
I will.
KLF 2025.